Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. It's the 6th. It's October. It's 2020. And all three of those things are literally absolutely debatable. The one thing that's not debatable is I didn't mention that I was bringing Dr. Carrie Madej back again, and she was nice enough to make time for me. What's up, Doc?
Hey, how are you doing?
Not bad, not bad. I appreciate you making the time again. As usual, we spoke before. We talked about a few things, and in the time that's passed, so much has happened, and none of it is actually really all that surprising, but some of it I'd really like to have an actual MD's input in on, because an asshole with a laptop's great, an MD's a little bit better. So I already showed you a couple of things I wanted to talk about here. Do you have any input or opinion on the latest drama in As the World Turns, starring Donald J. Trump in The Lovely Flotus? What do you make of all that?
Oh, I mean, I just think it's pretty suspicious. It seems like there's a play unfolding in front of us, and we're just watching a play or a movie. I kind of expected this to happen right before the elections. Of course, it happened just after the debate, and you know what? About a month before the election. So, yeah.
The beauty of it is, I mean, in my opinion, just looking at it for what it is, being like living, we're like we all live in a soap opera now, which is insane, and it's controlled by insane people. So this is just phenomenal. It's like tripping, except you didn't ask to take anything. You might not understand what that means, being a clean-cut doctor and such, but you know. At any rate, I heard the live stream that you did with Dr. Kaufman, and you guys were talking about the newest contender in the ring, and I believe that was from Profusa in the hydrogel.
Yes.
Can you tell us what you told him about this? Because it sounded like you were pretty well versed on this.
Well, yes, the hydrogel is a carrier to get nanotechnology into your body. It's actually the newest way to get the nanotechnology into somebody's body. They always talk about those chips, and you saw like little tiny, physically you could see something. Well, this you don't really physically see. So this is what they would use. You can get the hydrogel in through the Band-Aid platform from the vaccine. They're talking about giving you a Band-Aid for the vaccine, little tiny spicules. Or you could get it through an injection through the hypodermic needle. Other ways, like they have an applicator like you're showing right there. They could do that. They've been using this already for people with diabetes and other chronic illnesses like that. So this has been out for a little while. And if you look on their YouTube channel or their YouTube site, they'll tell you that they can use it for, they have people biking and running and people with chronic diseases and looking at their smartphone, looking at all their data levels, right? So you could do this with anybody. And if you look on your smartphone, I'll have to do a little tutorial, but on the smartphone, like under mine, which is an iPhone, can you do a drop down of your health app? Because everybody has a health app. You can't erase it, but you can disable it. And on mine, there's so many different things. It's got your hearing level, your environmental hearing, everything about your heart, your electrodermal activity, which is a polygraph test. That's what it can measure. Your sleep habits, how many times you've had sex, if you're ovulating for a woman, your mood, the medicines. It could possibly get even your illicit drugs and what kind of illicit drugs you're using. All kinds of things are in there. So this app would then hook up into the biosensor, the hydrogel in you. So then it's wireless. You are wireless to your smartphone. And then your smartphone would go up to the cloud or the 5G. That's why they need 5G to connect all of us at the same time. They need a bigger bandwidth. That's why they're pushing that. So, but if you look at the smartphone, it's, and there's drop down, I still get floored. And every time I open it up just to look at the subcategories, they're adding more and more and more in there. They even put how many times you've fallen down. So maybe you wouldn't be fit for society anymore if you fell down too many times. But wheelchair distance, so even if you're disabled, you're not exempt from this. They look at all of this. So why would they want to know all these things, right? What would this be? What would the point of this be? Well, one thing would be that the patent that was put out by the Microsoft, the Gates Foundation, that was in 2020, March 26th, and that's international. And that patent is 60606. And that one would hook you up with your biosensors, meaning the hydrogel. That would use the hydrogel. And if you look at that diagram there that you're pointing at, it shows a little stick figure. That's you or me. And then the sensor was the hydrogel right there. And then next to the user device is your cell phone. And then it goes up into the 5G communication network, right? The AI, the central server. So that's how that would work. And so they're all, you know, accumulating this data on you for obviously surveillance, but also with this patent, they're talking about using all of that for cryptocurrency. So no longer would you need cash or credit cards. Your body, your biometric data now becomes your cryptocurrency, okay? So they would control your money. So again, this goes into who controls that. What if they didn't have your best interest, of course, like China, because what if you were speaking out against the government, or what if you were not doing something they thought was in the interest of the good of the whole, right? They could take some cryptocurrency away from you. So this is something to worry about, because they're already using this technology in Africa as we speak. There's a test going out on the adults and children, and this MasterCard and the Gates Foundation is behind this, and they're already testing it out. So people who tell me this is in the future, it's not. They're already starting to use it right now.
Well, in our experience over the years, anytime they show us technology, it's usually been around 10, 20 years. It's hard to tell because you're dealing with incredibly creepy, deceptive, egomaniacal scumbags. We'll call them that for short. Real quick. Could I happen to ask you what your religion is by chance? Because I'm getting a lot of comments. One specific person had to be put in the corner because they're a dick.
I'm Christian. Yeah. So, yeah.
Now, here's a funny thing. Before you and I went live, way back when we were kids, you were fairly new to YouTube. You had just decided to voice your opinion, so forth and so on. And I warned you. I said, as soon as you come out here and try to help people, because I'm an asshole with a laptop. That's it. That's it. If I can prove my point, I can prove my point. You have an edge, like Dr. Kaufman, like Dr. Tenpenny, like all the other doctors that have decided to do what grown American freedom-loving people should do and use their credentials to back up their opinion. And your credentials actually fall in the same arena that this all is in. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay. When you do that, people will decide, I don't like the way she looks, I don't like what she just said, or I'm just bored and I'm going to mess with this woman. I warned you they were going to do that. And apparently you had a dream catcher in a video that you made. There was a video you made. There was something. I have a lion in the background. So yeah. Clearly I own a lion. I own a zoo. I kill lions. I skin lions, something to that effect. It did happen to you. And it's amazing that you do, like you say, have thick enough skin not to deal with it. But I didn't mean, I'm glad I asked you if I could ask you that ahead of time. I didn't want to backdoor you.
No, I'm a Christian, and yeah, I had the dream catcher. It was just hanging on the ceiling because I thought it was very pretty, and somebody with Native American background gave it to me as a gift, and I thought it was beautiful. I think it still is beautiful. There's nothing wrong with it. Doesn't mean it again.
But that's the internet. So I mean, there's a picture of what appears to be a rope bridge, and now they're going to make up. You know, you were escaping from a prison or something to that effect.
Probably that's why I escaped.
Jennifer Walters has good advice for you here, Doc. She said just ignore the hate, and I agree with her. But it's hard because sometimes they catch you on a bad day.
I try not to read those comments. And the thing is, I think a lot of people are so scared of what's going on right now. And it is scary. And so they want to refute and deny it. And because if they accept what you're saying, the basis of the reality can change. And they cannot handle that truth, most people. And they will fight it. What was that?
They're going to lash out at whoever's telling them the truth. Yes.
Yeah, they will fight
to stay in the matrix.
Yeah. And that's the truth. And and the anger that comes out sometimes. So I don't take it personally because they don't know me personally.
what was the woman? What was the lady in the Matrix? That badass chick with the leather suit and all the guns.
Trinity.
That's you.
Yeah.
What was her name?
Trinity.
Trinity. There you go. There you go. All right. Cool. Cool. And Jesse James has been around for a long time. He said dream catchers are cool. So there's that. And I'm Native American, and so is it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a Native American.
You know what I mean?
I honestly think it has nothing to do with any of these little things. It's simply that people are fearful because we're getting hit all at once with all of this technology. It's a blitzkrieg, and that was done purposely. They've kept us in a cave about what we can do with technology. I mean, the Pentagon's releasing things about anti-gravity aircraft and, space-time and all these astral traveling. They're like, oh, by the way, we can do all this and it's functioning. They're doing that while we're in quarantine because we've been able to do all these things forever. I mean, we have so much technology, but we don't know it. So then when you learn a little bit about this, it seems like there's no way because you were kept in the dark about what we can do. But they can do this. And I know about this not just from the research. I think I told you previously about the meeting that I attended in Atlanta about 5, 6 years
Good
ago.
call. I was just going to say, you knew about this technology before we did, correct?
Yes.
Because you heard about it in Atlanta before this whole COVID thing broke.
Yes. So
okay. Go ahead.
So I've attended scientific meetings where they talk about this, but this is a business meeting. This was something that I was invited to. I didn't go to for a while, and finally I went to the meeting. It was a business owners meeting, and I was bussed in. All of us were bussed in. You couldn't drive there. Cell phones were jammed. They didn't work at all. I didn't know that would happen because I was a new person there. And I didn't know any other medical personnel there but me. That's all I met, except for one speaker. And anyway, the whole point of this conference or this meeting was to discuss how they could get more new businesses to move to Atlanta. And Atlanta, they said, had problems because people from other countries didn't want to move there because of the racism and their problems with accepting different cultures from different countries. So how would they change the behavior of all the people quickly? And they said they had a great invention or a great idea invention, blah, blah, blah. And they brought up the health app. And this is before it was downloaded on our phones. And they said that they could change the behavior of a group of people within 30 days. And this was bringing up, they were describing this patent 60606. They didn't bring up that number, but they described the technology. And how they describe that would be that if you were saying something on the phone to a person saying, I'm at this location and you weren't at that location, the phone would light up and buzz and say you're lying, and you'd have repercussions for lying. And the phone would know you're lying based on GPS, voice inflection, polygraph tests, your heart rate, all of your physical, biometrics. But also would check like your blood alcohol content, the drugs, the illicit drugs in your system. Everything would be noted at that time to know that you're lying. And there would be repercussions. So there'd be immediate repercussions and long-term repercussions. They even talked about something like a social credit system. This was in a business meeting. They said they would unveil this within 5 years, which would be obviously this year, 2020, right? They might be a little bit behind. So this was a very serious business meeting. They could do it. They were going to do it, period. They had no doubt about it. And there's standing ovation. People were clapping. I was horrified. I was the only one that I could see not clapping. And then pretty much when I questioned people that had invited me, I said, why would you ever invite me to this? You know I stand for everything against this. They said, well, you'll learn pretty soon. It's either us or them. Which side will you choose? And I said, well, I'll never be like you. I don't think of people and humanity in that way. And there's no way that I could ever agree to this. And I said, you are foolish to think that this technology won't be used on you as well. I said, you're pretty stupid. And then I thought, well, maybe this won't happen for much longer in the future. But when all of this started coming about with a vaccine and seeing all these platforms and technologies unveil, and then seeing the patent come out, I knew that this was exactly what they were talking about in that meeting. So it's the real deal. I mean, it's serious. These people are serious about going forward with that. Oh,
there's no doubt about that. They're not slowing down whatsoever at all. And I know that you're aware they already started locking down other countries. It appears from what I'm seeing, and to be honest, we kind of guessed this was going to happen, that the first place to really get the jackboot on their neck was going to be Australia. And it turns out it is. They're starting in the center and moving their way out. They signed, I don't know if you're familiar with Safe Cities. Is that what it was called, dude? Safe Cities? Whatever. I did a video on it a couple of years ago, and basically what it was, it made it look like strong cities or something like that. Cities sign up with it, and it looks like that if something goes wrong, they get federal police force help, but it's not federal, it's UN federal, meaning one world government. Melbourne did sign up for that, and that's exactly what they're getting. We were getting emails from people that were our subscribers and such that were there saying, we're surrounded by police that just came out of nowhere. They're wearing different uniforms. We never saw them before, and all of a sudden radio silence. And they're getting their asses kicked over there. And apparently London's getting ready to lock down.
UK is really bad. Like the people that I've worked with there that have just spoke up in the rallies, they're being arrested and being charged with all these stupid things that don't even exist. These whatever like they're charging with a lot of money, and they actually went in their homes, confiscated every digital device they had. They lost everything, all their computers, their cell phones, everything. These are people that just spoke at the rally. I mean, what if you did anything more than that? And also in Scotland, it's getting quite bad as well. You know, people are telling me Spain that I'm hearing about as well. Now they want to put healthy people in containment camps in Spain. They've already got them being built as we speak. So these won't house the sick ones. They will house the asymptomatic carriers or the healthy people. So that's where they're going to put people.
Well, have you seen the reports? I mean, we've got it straight from people that work there. A dude down in Louisiana is just a regular contractor, regular working dude, but he happens to be awake. He went to go get some PEX tubing and some other supplies to build a house, and they were all sold out. And the guy said, they're building all the mobile vaccine trailers, so they came in and bought us all out. So it's on. They're not going to slow down on this, because as much as we yell and scream, I mean, and we're not going to stop yelling and screaming until we can't anymore. So I'm until the wheels fall off. They're trying to show us.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But
I tell people that this is what I think is going to happen. I think that people will get a regular flu vaccine and or this COVID-19 vaccine. Who knows what's in it, okay? They haven't even told us what's in it. I've been following the research on the companies, but they haven't announced what would really be in it. So it doesn't matter if you get the flu vaccine or COVID-19 vaccine. What we do know from previous studies of animal studies is that when you get these kinds of vaccines, you look like you are doing okay at first, but then when you get challenged with a virus, one of the coronaviruses or something like that, you will have a hyperimmune response, meaning you have a cytokine storm. So instead of getting a better response when you see that virus, you're going to have a worsened response. You're going to have more lung inflammation, more liver issues, more of like a sepsis kind of effect. So you'd likely be the person in the intensive care unit. So I think this will happen. People will get sicker, or maybe more people will die. They're going to blame this on COVID-20 or a recurrence of COVID-19, and then tell all of us, hey, you're being bad people. You didn't follow our protocols. You didn't wear the mask. You didn't self-isolate like you were supposed to. So now we're really going to do the real protocols. And then they're really going to hit us with some really severe restrictions. And then they'll start getting serious about taking people and children out of their homes or the schools and putting them into the FEMA containment camps, whatever you want to call them, the hotels, prisons, okay? And that'll be the punishment, right? And so until we finally submit to whatever they want us to do. So I believe that that would be the second wave that they're keep threatening us with. So that's why I keep warning people about the the vaccines, because there's many terrible things about them. And you may not think the technology will be in them, and maybe or maybe not will they put the nanotechnology in this COVID-19 vaccine. They want to, I don't know if they will. They will do it eventually. But what they will do is use the same science, the same kind of mRNA or mDNA, or just the flu vaccine that have had all the toxic issues before. They will use that in there. And we do know by the science before of all the animal studies how it was a terrible failure in the animal studies. We know that. I'm sure that's why they skip the animal studies in these trials, because they don't want anyone to know what happens. Because you can't challenge a human. It's not ethical. You can challenge an animal. So when they challenge the animals, they got sicker. So our challenge will be after we get the vaccine, we see a cold, we see a flu, we get really, really, really ill.
Let me ask you, what do you mean when they say that they can't challenge a human, they can challenge an animal? What does that mean exactly?
So it means that, okay, so when they're getting the vaccine for, let's say, the COVID-19, it's not ethical to then put the COVID-19 into the person or get them exposed to it on purpose, because it's so dangerous, COVID-19. It's not ethical to do that to them. So we don't really know what happens until they're out in the environment for a while. But with an animal, if you give them the vaccine, they look like they're doing okay, then you can, within their chamber or their cage, you can give them the COVID-19 or put it in the air or whatever you want to. That's called a challenge test. You're actually trying to give it to them. You're not supposed to do that to a human. That's not ethical.
Well, they wouldn't want to breach the ethical barrier because these guys are just awesome. Did you see this? I think I sent you the link to this when it first broke out. This was from AstraZeneca.
Yeah.
And the two people that, I mean, is this even possible? They claimed they gave two people. Why am I effing this up? So stand by, Doc. Sorry about that. I'm an idiot. It is what it is. AstraZeneca put this story out first. I can't find it right now, but here it is, where they gave two people the trial test. One person started showing symptoms of multiple sclerosis. And they said, oh, dude, yeah, you just had that. It had nothing to do with the vaccine. Fortunately, we found it for you, so get out of here and shut up. The second person says, they killed God. I can't feel God anymore. Why would, here's my, that's crazy. I don't know what to make of any of that. But what I do know is the same people that own the vaccine companies, the same people that own the media, and the same people that are perpetrating this are all the same people. So if they want everybody to get a shot, why in the world would they even let this story get out? Why wouldn't they just give everyone a placebo, tell them it's the COVID vaccine, everybody's fine, and then lie? Do you know what I'm saying?
I agree with you. I don't know. I do know that they're skipping so many of the safety trials and that they're the ones telling us the side effects. And I do believe that there are some scientists that still have ethics and morals and maybe compartmentalized, meaning they don't really know what's going on. They don't see the bigger picture. So I believe that there are people still trying to do their job properly. So they do have to balance that. They still have people still trying to do their job and make the proper diagnosis and report. But then you see that we're still skipping major safety trials. We're still skipping the checks and balances in the end. So I think you're going to get some people telling what's going on. A little bit's going to slip out, but in the overall scheme of things, you're not going to see the big picture, the true nature of what's going on. Because first of all, these companies are the ones telling us what their side effects are. I mean, can you believe that? We don't have some independent review board really telling us, not at this point.
And it's strange that the side effects weren't like, oh, I've got a really sore throat or my skin's itchy. Nope, I've got multiple sclerosis now, and this other person says God is dead. I can't feel God. It seems like they would have picked two better ones to release to the public. It kind of seems like they're baiting a lot of us. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't pay a lot of attention to that like some people thought I would. I don't know. It seemed too contrived to me.
All right, cool. That's the answer. And I'll go with that for 100. That'll work.
Yeah.
Too contrived, declares Dr. Madej. So let's go to the next one here. What do you think of these apples? Okay. Listen to this, people, all right? Doc, you got to stand by because it applies to you. She's already told you what her religious affiliation is. If you can or can't believe that, then leave. There's no hope for you because here's a medical doctor, an actual fucking MD. Pardon my French. I am French. I forgot to tell you that. Telling us exactly what I've been telling you before she showed up. So you might want to listen and not worry, even though she's already stated she's a Christian. And the way she's explaining everything and the way she explained it in the last live streams basically laid out, she's looking at this from a biblical point of view. All right. So relax or leave. Oh, I wish you. Oh, I love the internet. The distance is beautiful.
I don't know why you get upset about it. It doesn't matter.
Oh, I'm not upset. I'm very excited. That's all. I get easily excited. At any rate, all right. What you had to have paid attention to the team of doctors that looked exactly like they walked off the set of General Hospital or As the World Turns and came out and briefed us on the condition of Donald J. Trump. Why is it they're telling us they gave him these magical 2 compounds that we never heard of? Are those even real? Is that even legit? Because they look exactly like actors and they contradicted each other. We didn't give them oxygen.
To me, it's like a big play. It doesn't seem real to me. We don't have any real medical reports on. Right now, we're not getting anything that I would consider real scientific from that. And to me, it just looks like a drama playing out. So until I get some scientific reports on that, some research, how can I make any comment on that? Yeah, and still we're skipping over the tried and true, the medicine, the hydroxychloroquine, and why that works and why it could work. I mean, they're still skipping over, glossing that over. I mean, right now, this seems like a big play, a big drama going on.
It does. But then when you go over to CDC's website, even today, they're showing the fatality rate going all the way up to 70+ people as still below 0.5%. What the F? What does that even mean?
You're talking CDC's website you're talking about?
Yeah. I pulled it up in like the last 3 videos. I don't have it up right now, but I will. I mean, it's the numbers are minuscule. Stand by.
Yeah, of course.
I don't have it. Do I?
Yeah, of course they're minuscule. We should not be in a state of emergency still, and we still are. This is why it's the biggest hoax. Because show me the data that proves that this should be a state of emergency. And the reason why they need the state of emergency is to enforce these draconian laws on us and to abuse them. Because the state of emergency was really only supposed to be for, like major floods or hurricanes or things like that. It was never intended for something like this. It was never written for that. But here we go. And they're able to use and abuse this State of Emergency Act. And now it's led us into foregoing all the safety measures on us and doing whatever they want and saying whatever they want and getting away with it. Who's checking them? Who's doing that? We don't have the checks and balances anymore. So it's up to us, the people, grassroots, to speak up for ourselves because the people in power aren't doing it for us. They're abusing the state of emergency, or they don't have the power to speak anymore.
Well, check this out. I just came up with an idea while you're talking. How about this? Why don't on the 25th of October, me, you, a bunch of doctors, a bunch of other people all meet in Florida. Does that sound like a good idea? Can you do that?
I think it's a perfect idea. It's about time.
That wasn't my idea. Go ahead, Doc. Run with it. That wasn't my idea, but it is it.
Yeah.
What do we do? Go ahead.
Yeah, October 25th, around Orlando area, Daytona Beach. We're planning on doing a rally and just starting to speak for medical freedom, for freedom in general. And it's a unity. It's apolitical, so no politics involved. And put a lot of information out. And I think you should join us. I think that'll be cool.
Do you have an exact location yet? Are you still working on that?
Because they're talking about DeLand, D-E-L-A-N-D, DeLand.
DeLand, Florida. Mm-hmm. All right, cool.
They said they did one before, and they didn't have problems with the police. That's why.
They did or did not?
Did not at all.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how that. We'll see. As long as the creek don't rise in the good Lord's will, and I'm there. It's all good. And there's plenty of people down there in Florida to make sure that you've got your back covered. So that's not a problem. What else? I can't just drop it now. It's been a half an hour, right? What else you got? Come on, Carrie, talk, man. Say smart stuff.
What do you want to talk about? I mean, we talked about that meeting.
I got a good one for you. And I'll post the information for. I very rarely go to Florida. Nicholson, 1968. You might want to be there. In a real world, vaccines are safe. We're just conspiracy theorists. If there really were a pandemic, in your experience, how long would they literally have to test a vaccine before they could present it as a solution? In a real world, like the real trials, the real checks and balances, all this stuff. Because Say that again.
Minimum 5 years. Before you kill more people. I mean, the treatment can't be worse than the disease itself. And that's what we're seeing right now. The treatment is worse than the disease itself. So, and they're trying to unveil a lot of technology. This is the other thing is they keep telling us they're going to launch these vaccines by these companies, AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Moderna, Inovio. Okay. They pick their companies. So all we have to go on, me as a physician, we can only look and see what these individual companies are telling us that they're doing. Our own government's not releasing the data. Our CDC, our FDA, none of them are telling us exactly what's in these vaccines. They're just saying one of these vaccines will be given to you. Magically, one day you'll just get it. Surprise, they're not even telling the doctors what's in it. So we need to know what's in these vaccines. All I can do is tell you what the companies are telling me, and the companies are telling me they want to unveil this new technology. Now, people say, how do you know that for sure? Well, I don't know that for sure. All I can do is tell you what the companies are telling me. What about our own government entities? What about the FDA? What about our CD? What in the world? They're not telling us anything. So this is so unethical. So the doctor's supposed to sit there and say, now I have this magical little box or whatever is in it. I'm going to give it to you. I don't even know what's in it. How can we go by our Hippocratic oath? How can we do that as doctors? I don't understand how this would happen. And this is when they brought up, well, maybe the doctors won't even give it out. Maybe we'll just send it to you in the mail. And that would take care of that. Nobody would have to do anything. No one would have to, break their oath. The military wouldn't even have to be involved. It would just be the Postal Service, the UPS, Amazon. They'd send it to you in the mail. That's been brought up as well. All these things are hypotheses, though. We don't know because they're just talking and they're not telling us what they're doing. It's just, again, going to be a surprise on us. It's insane. And it's not right. And I don't know why the American public, they're not speaking up more about this. This is not a joke.
I've got, now, as a Christian and an MD, you might have a problem with this one. We've seen so many different things come and go from 9/11. I'm actually even going back to World War II, starting with every major thing where lots and lots of people died because of rich people saying we needed to do it. You always look in the background. It was always a fraud. It was always a hoax. This one, though, when this first popped up, we didn't think this was going to fly because it doesn't make, who cares? It didn't. Certainly, this isn't going to take off. And then it did, and it won't stop. I've made videos after video until they took my channel down. I made videos and videos pleading to just regular American people, just like I just said to you. So let's look at this like there really is a pandemic. Okay, there really is. It's just invisible. We can't see it, but there really is a pandemic. Donald Trump really cares about you. They're really trying to race and make a vaccine. How in the world are you going to accept a vaccine that these people are clamoring for now? They want a vaccine just so they can go back to normal life because this whole thing was played brilliantly. How are you going to take a vaccine for some unprecedented virus that's just, taken over the world that's never been tested? And it has biotech in it because they're all saying it. They're not even denying that. They're telling you. They're getting them. They did the beautiful. It's for the elderly. It'll help it'll know when your grandmother's heart rate goes up. It'll help the troops. It'll help athletes. They did all the qualifications. Athletes, soldiers, elderly. They did that right off the bat, but it still stands it. It's never been tested. And as a matter of fact, as far as they have told us, it's not even, the vaccine doesn't even exist. So we got a vaccine. Okay, tomorrow come by. We're going to give it to everybody on Earth. Everyone on Earth needs this vaccine now. It's insane. People they just can't see past it. And it appears that they have cast an enormous spell over these people. And as wacky and childish and fairy tale as that sounds, the president came out at the White House and said, a monster has cast a spell over 184 nations. Is it possible to do mass hypnosis or mass evil spell casting? I mean, you have dream catchers, so clearly you know about that stuff.
If you read up on Hitler, he is a master of hypnosis, right? Of how to speak and talk in front of the audiences and how he studied that, how to use cadence, how to use tone, frequency, how his hand movements were, also using fluoride in the water. I mean, there's a million different ways, right? That we still have continued that from World War II.
On steroids.
All of this technology, all of these methods we still even adopted them in the US under the project or Operation Paperclip. So we carried that on. So yes, this stuff can happen, right? And the television is one of the major brainwashing devices out there.
Do you have a television?
No.
I don't either. I don't use one. I've been showing the patents that go back to before I was born, where they are using it strictly and only as a weapon. It's a weapon.
I think that if everyone turned their television off for at least a month, you see a major change everywhere. And people have to understand this is not, it doesn't matter which president gets voted in.
At all.
This is a worldwide event, okay? It's not just one country. One country is not going to change it, because look at every other country. So we have to speak up all together. We, the people, have to speak up. It's not going to just be one person that gets elected into office. And people need to stop being lazy and complacent about that. And they want other people to take over and make the decision for them. And if they do that, they will be very sorry. The line has been drawn. Which side are you on right now? Because this is more than just a physical battle that we're in. We are in a spiritual battle as well. I very much believe that. I mean, the number 666 keeps coming up over and over again.
Everywhere.
These people into transhumanism, which this is transhumanism when you start linking a human up to AI, and that would be permanent. Okay, you are melded one with AI. This is transhumanism. This is going beyond what supposedly a normal human is. Okay, they say advancing or uplifting humanity. It is not uplifting it. Okay, but that's what they're telling us. So these people that believe in it, they believe they can be gods. They're atheists, okay? They believe that they are the gods. They can be the gods. And one of the people behind this, I've talked about him, Dr. Craig Venter, one of the people with the Human Genome Project. He even opened his opening keynote speech by saying, what is God? God creates. Well, we can create now, so we are God, period. So not only that, people have to understand, if all these technologies are going in there, but in this mRNA or mDNA, it's going to alter your genetic code. And if it does that, there's going to be something synthetic in there, not from nature. If it's something synthetic, by the Supreme Court justice hearing their ruling, then you can be patented and owned. People have to understand that. They're not telling you that. The Department of Defense, Microsoft, Bill Gates Foundation, DARPA, all of these entities would actually have patents and own you, your physical body. And if it becomes permanent in your genome, it can be replicated, meaning passed down to your offspring. So technically they could get royalties because you're copying you're always copying your genome, because that's how we regenerate ourselves. So you're copying their patent. You could actually have to pay them royalties. This is insane. And then your offspring would have to pay them royalties too.
It's insane, but we've seen
this is a Supreme Court justice ruling.
I heard. It's insane, but we've already seen them tested on a large scale level, and that was with agriculture. Yeah. They were literally making people pay them because, oh, my seed, a bird took a seed, put it in your field, and it grew. Now you owe me money. It's happened. People have taken their own lives because of this. So it's just another level to it.
Yeah, exactly. A bunch of farmers committed suicide in India. They were doing this on such a grand scale.
It's happening here. It's happening here. We've got at least, 4 cases? Idaho, 2 in Idaho, 2 in where they grow stuff in the United States, whatever. I'm not a history teacher. Yeah, they died.
Midwest, baby.
You know what I mean? Listen to this, right? That's the U.S. education system. That was before Common Core. I got real smart like this. Check this out. This military biosensor right here, this one specifically does, as soon as it's put into you, the terminology they use, I can't think of it right now, but your body will accept it and start growing around it like right off the bat.
Yeah.
Once that happens, pay up, you owe me, because that's patented. That's lame.
Yeah. And hydrogel, though, is really the newest technology, because that's kind of the Model T technology they're showing you. So
yeah, that was 2 months ago. So yeah, it's moving fast. Go ahead.
So hydrogel is actually completely, your body accepts it as its own, and it can reproduce, it can grow inside your body. So it keeps multiplying inside your body. This is crazy because if you look at hydrogel and it'll say, put dancing hydrogel on YouTube, you should see a little stick figure, because the nanobots come together and they form a stick figure, and with the solution, they're able to do a little dance. They move around. So my point is, imagine that through your whole body. It actually would start infiltrating your whole body. And my idea was, if it infiltrates enough, how much would you be organic and how much would be cyborg or synthetic, right? And this goes into, maybe you couldn't die as easy, because how much more organic would you need? There should be something called dancing hydrogel.
But there really shouldn't be something called dancing hydrogel, but stand by.
But you should see it. It's unbelievable there it is right there. Now click on that thing and watch that thing move.
Well, that's cool, Carrie. You're just making a big deal out of nothing. That's normal.
And your body's it's a saline kind of, so that's a salt solution, but that could be your blood plasma right now, okay? So these actually came together, formed that figure, and now by electrical impulses, it moves because your body is
what are the odds it looks exactly like a stick figure? Come on,
it looks
man.
like the used car lot things.
What the?
Yeah,
sorry.
right.
It can look like anything though, but the point is it could actually infiltrate throughout your whole body, and it multiplies on its own.
That's insane. Now, real quick before I forget, listen to this. The hydrogel goes on exactly like the adhesive on a regular bandage, except instead of adhesive, it's hydrogel. So your body sucks it up like a nicotine patch. Is that accurate?
Pretty much. But you can also get it injected into you too. So it's not like you have to have it by the bandage platform. Nice. The idea of the bandage platform is that they wouldn't have to worry about the doctors refusing to give it. They wouldn't have to worry about the military refusing to give it, because now the person themselves would give it to them. And then maybe you could trick people into giving their own vaccine, because it looks like a bandage. It doesn't look like a vaccine, right? So you could do it by the bandage platform, but also the injection as well. It can be given many different ways. But the thing is, once it's inside, it multiplies. It can regenerate. It's alive, but not alive, okay? And your body would provide itself the battery and the nutrients and the building blocks to create more of itself. It would get its instructions from impulses coming inside of you, usually sound or light. Okay, so that could be given through, again, this little smart device. You know, something goes through that, a pulse, that could give the instructions to it, because you can get a drug on demand from the hydrogel, which Bill Gates has brought up, and Moderna and other companies have brought this up. They're like, oh, by the way, while we're doing this vaccine thing, just FYI, you could actually get the same technology to give you your own drugs without you taking a pill. We would just give you a light, or there'd be a download from your phone to you, and then you would create, because you'd have all the substrates, the building blocks, you would create your own drug. So who says what you're getting? Who says when you're getting it? It doesn't sound like you do. It sounds like something else would say when you get your drug. And what would it be? Would it be a sedative? Would it be antipsychotic? I don't know.
It could be like some of the professors in Michigan that are saying they should put psilocybin mushrooms in the water supply so people act right during the next lockdown. They kind of tip their hand there a little bit, like, oh, by the way, it seems like you wouldn't know a lockdown was coming because this is an organic outbreak. There's not, it comes and goes as it pleases. But we live in a crazy, crazy place right now. I'd have to say, I guess, long story short, as a doctor, would you tell people don't take that shot, don't take that test? Because these guys have so many creepy ways to get this into you, man.
I wouldn't trust any vaccine at all right now, because they're all lying, and people have to know that every check and balance system we have ever had in medicine is gone. It is gone. We are dealing on a new playing field now. So do not believe that what we had before is in place at all. It's not. So even if you thought a vaccine was safe before, you cannot trust them right now. And
at all.
People with the history of vaccines, the tetanus vaccine has been proven to be the abortion vaccine in many cases. It has we found that it has the HCG hormone in it, so that when you get the tetanus vaccine, a woman would abort the baby when she had it. So I found this out because I was suspicious about the tetanus. Because first of all, if you've ever heard about getting tetanus, supposedly you get a rusty nail on your foot and there's the tetanus bacterium in it. And within minutes to hours, not days, minutes to hours, if you have that tetanus, you will start spasming so bad throughout your whole body. You'll curl up in a little ball and you'll suffocate to death because your diaphragm spasms. It's a terrible, awful way to die. So I had never heard of anyone dying like this, not in the news anywhere. So throughout my whole schooling, I asked everybody. It culminated into asking some infectious disease experts, can you find out a real case of tetanus? They could not give me one real case of tetanus proved by Koch's postulates. So I said, if that's true, then why are we giving, it doesn't exist, why are we giving the vaccine? And they told me to shut up, and they said, we're all supposed to give it anyway, never repeat this, never repeat that. Well, when I was doing my training, I realized in Detroit, I worked in an area that was very poor in one of the hospitals there, delivering babies. And we had private pay and public assistance. The people on public assistance never got the tetanus vaccine, but the private pay did. I didn't understand why. But I did realize that there's a difference in fertility. So the people with private pay had a lot of problems with fertility, but the public assistance did not, and they were not in very good health. So I made the hypothesis that maybe there's a fertility connection. When I researched it, I found many references of the Vatican and other entities finding that the HCG vaccine was only, the tetanus vaccine was only given to women of childbearing age in many countries. So that was suspicious. When they had to analyze, they found that the pregnancy hormone was in it. So that means the body would react with the pregnancy and would attack it, and it would abort. And the NIH agreed that it was the abortion vaccine, that they purposely were doing this and have been working on it since 1972. So my point to you is, this vaccine was really an abortion vaccine. So they've lied to us for decades now about that vaccine. So if they lied to us about that for decades, why do you trust them now? Why are we trusting them now with even less checks and balances?
Because they made sure that over the years, they whittled the American attention span down to below a goldfish before they pulled this off. Because it's insane to me how much they're doing MK Ultra like we've never seen before. They're telling people one thing, the president, Fauci, anybody, they'll tell them one thing, and by the time they get to the end of the sentence, they're telling them the exact opposite. No. That's MK Ultra. You know what I mean? And it's working like a champ. It's not wearing off. I'm out here where dudes are rolling around in dusty ass jeans, Spurs, cowboy hats. You know what I mean? Fuck darn cowboys. You know what I'm saying? Wearing masks. Not all of them. Not all of them. Some know what's up. But when they see the COVID is a hoax sticker on my truck, used to get thumbs up. Now nuts. I get a lot of frowny faces because Trump just reeled them all in because he was found to have COVID. So how could it be a hoax? Or how could it be contrived? Or how could it be anything other than what they're saying? Because the president got it, even though he didn't quarantine for 2 days. You know what I'm saying? Even though we knew he was going to get taken out one way or the other, taken out of the equation, and the military is already gearing up and has been for the elections because they're telling us there's going to be trouble, just like there's going to be a lockdown. They can now suddenly see into the future, no problem. And Americans, and I can't speak for the rest of the world, but from what I've seen, Americans are buying hook, line, and sinker. This is lame. This sucks.
Yeah.
This sucks.
But the change can only come from the people, and they need to stop expecting one person that's elected to change everything for them.
Doesn't work like that.
They've got to look over the entire world. This is a worldwide problem. It's not just the United States, or this country, that country. This is a world problem.
Americans,
it's playing along the playbook.
Americans need to stand up and exercise their rights.
That is correct.
And they haven't. And I thought they would. I thought this was going to go. But the Trump and the Q psyops worked perfectly because they got the conservative Christians, the people that would actually lock and load and stand for this. You can protest all you want, but if men with guns aren't around, men with guns will show up. And that's all there is to it. So hopefully,
I do believe a lot of people are waking up. They're just being very quiet and waiting for the trigger event.
Good. That's a good one. See that? She's funny. Nice. Funny girl. Trigger event. You just triggered us, both of us. So this might be an idea. I don't know if this might be. Oh, I can. I couldn't click on that. They're literally censoring my chat. Thanks, guys. And they'll pull my channel down after. So, yeah, last time you and I spoke, they pulled my channel down within moments. See you later, kid. You're out of here. I was like, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. 50 minutes. What else you got, Doc? Do you want to, any idea who's going to be at this Florida event that's going to be in 19 days?
Oh,
19 days.
I know. I've got to look and see who they've got lined up. It's American Freedom Information Center. So.
Oh, it was American Freedom Center thing.
Yeah.
Nice. Freedom fighter. That's not nice. That's an epitaph, I believe. All right. Well, at any rate, when you get all that info together, I'll post it.
I'll send it. You can send us a picture of you to put on the flyer. So I guess we just have to use your logo.
Just use my logo. Everybody else does. There's probably a Richie from Boston trolling me right now.
Yeah.
And people will believe it. Is this white race guy supposed to be pulling in front of your house?
No.
Stand by.
Another magical deal.
All right. All right, Doc. Let me get out of here. We might have.
No, it's
stand by. All right, Carrie. I appreciate your time.
Perfect.
With the information on the 25th, we'll get it. We'll get it all over the internet as much as we possibly can.
Okay. Perfect.
Thank you very much. I'll talk to you soon. From Boston, Dr. Carrie Madej. Her links will be below. We are out. Who the fuck?